Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Facebook Live. I'm Shanae, and I have been here at Sedgwick County Zoo 17 years, and I'm someplace I've never been able to be before. I'm up here on the giraffe catwalk. Look who's right next to me. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around. You guys have met Jonathan before. Jonathan is one of our keepers here at the zoo, and we are neck to neck and head to head with the giraffe.
Yeah, so this is MJ. She is our youngest giraffe here at Sedgwick County. And I'm sure a lot of you that have come out and fed the giraffes at our feeding station have probably fed MJ. She is definitely a fan favorite, and she definitely likes to clean up all the mess and eat all the food, as you can kind of tell. But we do have some other giraffes. I'm sure you guys have, so you're trying to sneak a bunch here. You'll get it.
You can really see how that 17-inch long tongue can work.
Absolutely. So while everyone's up close here, we can show it. See how she uses the tip of it too to wrap it around and pull it in? That's what they do in the wild. They'll use that to grab branches and grab trees, or parts of trees that they want to eat. And then up over here, I'm sure you just might have heard that bump. This is Elliot. He is our male. He's the only male giraffe that we have here at Sedgwick County. But you can kind of see how much larger he is in comparison to MJ. Now, one question that we do get asked a lot is, how tall are our giraffes? Now, we don't have an actual super definitive answer, but if you kind of see over on the wall over there, we have some tick marks in black. The very top one is about 14 feet, and Elliot's pretty close to that, so we do consider him to be around 14 to 15 feet, with the girls here being around 12. And again, MJ here is still growing a little bit, not a whole lot more, but she might get a little bit taller, whereas Elliot here, he is most likely as tall as he is going to get. These two are only about a year apart in age. He is 10 and she is 9. So even though they're very similar in age, you can kind of really see the differences from males to females. Now these two are our most friendliest giraffes. They like as keepers. You guys, when you come to visit and feed them. But behind us over there, you kind of see walking around, that is Lois. She is actually Elliot's mom. Now, she does come up to the feeding station a lot. She'll come up and take food from us, but she is just usually a little bit more laid back, a little bit more hesitant. She'll kind of take her time and let the other two check out what's going on first before she comes up. But when it comes to the age, like I said, Elliot here is 10. His mom is 22 years old. And you can kind of tell her age a little bit by the darkening of her spots, as well as if you kind of see their ossicones. Elliot and MJ's here, they look like they're still pretty well covered in hair, whereas Lois is there starting to lose a little bit. And that kind of happens with age. See if I can get him to stick his tongue out. Now, a pretty interesting fact that I've always thought was a lot of people enjoy, and some people may know, is if when you see their tongues, they are kind of this purplish, bluish, almost black color on the top here. You can kind of see that.
Oh, but they're pink at the very back end.
Yeah, so on the back and then on the bottom, they're a little bit more pinkish. It's kind of hard to, once he gets the food,
wow,
it's hard to keep it out. But part of the reason they're that color is because they stick their tongues out so much in the wild that it would get sunburned if it was just always pink. So that darker color helps keep it from getting burned. Good girl. Now this lettuce and carrots, and then I even have some celery in here that they enjoy. This is all just kind of extras and some treats for them. It's not actually a part of their daily diet, but they do enjoy it. But giraffes will spend quite a bit of time just eating and munching, and it's starting to turn. We're all starting to get to be the time of the year where all the trees are turning, which we love, and definitely the giraffe love as well, because we do give them quite a bit of browse. You can kind of see we get browse the other day from our tropics building, and Lois is over there. They'll munch on the branches and the twigs too. They'll rip off the bark. They like to eat it on certain types of them. So even though the leaves are gone, as you can kind of tell, she does like to chew on it. They'll eat a little bit of the bark, so we leave them up for a little bit longer for them. We do, and when they're inside, we try to keep them busy, keep them occupied. So we do hang up a lot of browse for them.
Oh, she got the bucket.
Yeah, so as you can kind of see, we leave any snacks unwashed. MJ will for sure get into them.
Elliot's just watching, waiting.
Jealous. Here you go, buddy. And then our fourth giraffe, which you might have seen when we panned over to Lois, is Twigga. Now, many people know Twigga. She has been here. She was born here, but she is also about ready to turn 26 years old here later this month. So she is very old. Now, a lot of the questions that we do get asked is, why is Twigga over here separated from the other three? Now, a lot of that is simply because of her age. She does have a little bit of a harder time moving, so she does have some extra padding with the horse mats down below that are pretty good for her joints and her hooves. But also because Twigga does have a different diet than these guys, than the other three. So because part of her diet is different, she's a little bigger, so we put her over there so she can finish her diet as well as some of the meds that she gets. You like this lettuce, huh? Now this lettuce that I'm giving them was actually grown. We just got it today. It was actually grown by our awesome horticulture department. They radioed all the staff in the zoo, wanted to know if we wanted a homegrown lettuce. We said we would take 20, 30 heads.
And we did do a Facebook Live up at the greenhouse where our guests got to see that lettuce being grown. So now you can see the end product here and how much it's enjoyed.
Yeah, like I was saying, we got about 20 or 30 heads of it, and I can almost guarantee you over half of it will be gone today, and much of it to the giraffes.
Now, Jonathan, there was a question out there asking, will we ever have young giraffe here at the zoo?
Not anytime soon. None of our giraffe are actually slated to breed, and that's mainly because these two are related, and then you just currently don't have plans to breed MJ and Elliot together.
And you said they weren't scheduled to breed. Do we look at something specific? Is that our decision, or do we work with others to help make sure that we are being conservation minded?
Both. We definitely work with Species Survival Plan, SSP. I'm sure many of you have heard of that in some of these videos. And they'll kind of help determine who to breed with who. Now, a lot of it is up to individual facilities as well, based on space and how well two species or two animals get along. But right now, we have just been told by the SSP to just basically be put on a hold status.
So one of the things that I think is really neat about that species survival plan is that sometimes we don't realize that having babies isn't always good. You need to make sure that genetically that they're the right matches and that there is quality homes for those animals to live in as well. So by not having babies here at the zoo, we're actually helping conservation, which is always a great thing. So there's a question. We have 4 giraffe here, 1 male, 3 females. How much space do we have, Jonathan? How many giraffe could we hold here at the zoo?
We could hold a few more. However, it would not be very ideal, simply because, as you can kind of tell with just Elliot's size alone, it's a little cramped, especially on days like today when it's chilly. These giraffes just cannot handle cold weather at all. So they cannot go outside if it's not above 40, and that includes wind chill. And being a very tall, large animal, they're obviously going to get a little bit more wind than we will. And they are in the middle of the zoo for the most part of where their exhibit is. So we do try to be very cautious of putting them out in inclement weather. So keeping many giraffe many more than 4 in here at a time, it could get a little cramped for space. As you can kind of see, Twig is taking some, and Elliot here, he tends to favor Twigga sometimes to, her disadvantage. Seems like he doesn't like the celery.
I don't blame him. I don't like celery either.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't even like the smell of it. But
Me too.
they do enjoy it. Now, I was just telling Shanae before the video started that we might not actually get Twigga to take any food from us, because typically she's pretty shy. But it looks like today she is interested in it, so you guys are actually in for a treat.
It's a rare treat.
Yeah. Now, on part of their diet, a lot of people are probably curious, we do just give them mainly grain. It's called wild herbivore. It's made specifically for herbivorous animals. And they do get quite a bit of it a day. And that's part of it, and then we also give them what we call free choice alfalfa. So what that essentially means is they pretty much get alfalfa throughout the day if they want. We hang some up on exhibit, they have some in here in the mornings as well as in the evenings. And they can just kind of munch on it all day and all night. And then we do try to create a lot of puzzle features to keep them occupied. Plus, it's kind of fun to just watch them use their tongues. It's kind of a natural behavior for them, so we want them to actually use them as much as possible. Even though right now we're just hand feeding them, we do like to get 5-gallon buckets and we drill small little holes in it that are only big enough for their tongues or a little bit larger. We'll put a lot of grain, a lot of these carrots or sweet potatoes, apples, even we'll pull browse or leaves off of trees, put them in buckets, and then they have to work to get them out. Or we have a lot of other type of feeders like that, similarly called puzzle feeders, that they have to work to get the food out.
Now, Jonathan, we have a question of, we allow giraffe feeding at the giraffe feeding station. Any opportunities for them to bite? And oh my gosh, she just threw that celery out again. Man, you are a guy after my own heart.
Well, MJ and Twig here will eat all the celery. What was the question?
The question was that we allow giraffe feeding. Are there opportunities that giraffe could bite?
There is a chance, but it's very, very minor. You're more likely to well, maybe not accidentally, but be kind of head-butted by a giraffe than bit. They're not typically big biters, per se, of people, but they're also not a huge fan of touching. Some do, some don't, but ours really aren't a huge fan of it. But kind of on the biting thing, it'll be hard to see. I can try and see if I can get Elliot to open up a little bit. But a neat fact about giraffes is they don't actually have any top teeth. They only have teeth on the bottom. Their top gum, though, is very hard. It's very rough, so that way they can still smash the trees.
And there was a question again, if you could tell us all their names again.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one right here, this is Lois. This younger one right next to her, that's one of our other females, MJ. The big guy way over there, he's our only male. His name is Elliot. And then our old female here, her name is Twigga. Now Twigga, just to give everybody a heads up, is a very interesting or popular name for giraffes. There are many facilities that have giraffes named Twigga because it literally translates into giraffe.
That's fascinating. I did not know that.
Yep.
And again, it's a rare treat for us to watch Twigga get hand-fed. She normally is one of the shyer giraffe and doesn't normally like to be hand-fed, but celery is the magic treat today. Jonathan, there are several different types of giraffe out there. I know they've broken them up into different subspecies and different classifications now, but what types of giraffe would you normally be able to see either at the zoo or if you happen to go to Africa?
Well, these ones specifically are the reticulated giraffes, and they're one of the more popular ones that are in zoos. There are currently about 9 classified subspecies of giraffes. The part of the issue that is involved with that, though, is almost yearly these numbers are changing. Not because of populations or anything, but simply because they're finding out new genetic information, and so some of these numbers are going from 7, sometimes up to 11. 2017, it was changed to about 9 subspecies. So these numbers are changing quite a bit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And tall-wise, you said we had from about 14 feet.
We say about 12 to 13 feet for our youngest MJ, all the way up to Elliot being about 14 feet.
And there's Elliot, our tallest, right there.
And let's see if we can get their tongue out again for anybody that might have come in late to the video. Elliot will probably have the longest one, but on average, a giraffe's tongue can be anywhere from 15 to 20 inches in length. Now that does include the part that would be in their mouth, but they still have long tongues.
And you're right, Tracy, Elliot is a camera hog, except for not for celery.
Nope, or carrots that have been on celery.
Again, for those of you that maybe turned in a few minutes later, we have a special treat today. I mentioned earlier that in the 17 years I've been here, I'm in a place I've never had the opportunity to visit. We are up on our catwalk inside our giraffe building, so we are literally nose to nose and eye to eye with our giraffe. We're looking at Twigga, who is our oldest giraffe here, and then Elliot, that camera hog. And you could see earlier Jonathan said that he does tend to favor Twigga, sometimes even a little too much, even a little more than she likes. I mean, we can definitely see that right now.
Now, also, I don't know if anybody's curious or knows, but a lot of times we get asked what these things are on top of their heads. They're not actually horns. They're called ossicones, but they do use them. I'm sure some people might have seen videos, but it's called necking, where giraffes will swing their heads and they'll hit other giraffes. And as you can kind of tell, both male and female have them. Males are usually a lot larger, a little bit more, sometimes stronger than females, but they will use those similar to horns, where they kind of hit each other with it.
Well, a question of one, do you think they know their names, Jonathan?
Yes, absolutely. They do, because when we are training, MJ here will do a lot of training with her. She definitely knows her name, and then there are times where, you know, you just saw Elliot kind of picking on Twig a little bit, and if we kind of, you know, yell for Elliot here a little bit, he kind of looks over at us and knows that we're getting on to him.
What about, how does a giraffe feel? Is their fur soft, or is it coarse like a horse, maybe?
It's very coarse. There's not a whole lot of fur and hair there, other than, you know, you can kind of see on their crest it's longer, but their actual hair that's on their body is very coarse. So this one here is MJ, that's taken all the celery from me. And again, she's the one that would pretty much almost always come up to the feeding station. See her long tongue there? It's almost like you can't give them enough food.
Well, you talked about the ossicones, but it looks like Pyre has also noticed the lump on the middle of their forehead. Is that just a third ossicone?
It's not really called an ossicone, but kind of, see how she's just kind of using it a little bit there? But they use that very similar to the ossicones as well.
Okay.
It's just kind of a bony ossification area. And obviously males are going to be a lot larger than the females, but again, they will use those similarly when they start swinging their heads at each other.
And we did just have a Facebook fan ask if you can view these videos later. You sure can. They'll stay up on Facebook, but we also put them on the zoo's YouTube page. So you can go to YouTube and just type in Sedgwick County Zoo and be able to watch any of the Facebook Live videos that we have done to date. Jonathan, I want to thank you so much for sharing this great experience with us today. It is certainly one that I am going to go home and talk about and remember. And we want to remind all of you out there that we do go live on Facebook every day, Monday through Friday, at 2 o'clock and 11 o'clock. We also do that Animal Ambassador Adventure every day at 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. We do also have some fun activities on our website for kids, easy science-based activities that you can do at home, and that's on our Facebook page, on our web page under coronavirus, so you can see what we're doing at home, some activities that you can do while you're at home. And for our Earhart Environmental family out there, we're so glad you chose the zoo as your challenge this week. All of our Earhart kids that are out there watching, I'm glad that we are part of your weekly challenge with your schoolwork. One last note, we are getting ready to celebrate Earth Day next week on April 22nd. It is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. One of the things we would love for you guys to do is share your pictures with us on what Earth Day means to you. We'll then put those pictures together and we will post them in a video on April 22nd. Thanks again for joining us from the catwalk at Giraffe. And remember, even though we're closed, we're still caring.